Welcome back to the NORA Podcast Stage, proudly brought to you by Invenco. My name is Mal Chia, here for the last session of Day 2 of Online Retailer. Thank you everyone who's been joining us for the last 2 days of interviews. So for our final interview, it's a pleasure for me to welcome up to the stage Zoltan Csaki from Citizen Wolf and Magic Fit. Zoltan, welcome.
Thanks, Mal. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's a really exciting one to end the day with, because it's something which is what we're going to be digging into is a problem which I think anybody in e-commerce, but definitely fashion, would be experiencing right now. And so we're going to be talking through about a bit of the Citizen Wolf story, but then also Magic Fit as well, and what you're looking to do to solve this problem for us. So I guess let's start back to the beginning of the story. Tell us how, where Citizen Wolf started from, why you started Citizen Wolf, and how that has now grown into Magic Fit.
So Citizen Wolf is a fashion brand. We're based here in Sydney. You probably don't know about us, but we've been around for 9 years. And we started with a really, simple insight, which was my co-founder and I thought it was insane that the clothes that we wear every day fit us the least good. In the sense that when you buy clothes off the rack, there's always compromise on many levels, but especially on fit somewhere, right? Yet when we get married, or basically when you get married, you have something made for you and it fits perfectly and you wear it maybe once in your life, or if you're a bloke, maybe twice or 3 times you get to wear the suit. And we just thought, isn't that sad? And also, what if we could use technology to sort of invert that and basically take all the good things of made to measure and apply them to the casual wardrobe? We weren't from a fashion background. So I think that's a really important sort of context, because if we were, we would not have gone down that route. And I understand now why we probably shouldn't have in many ways. It was really, really, really tough is the short story. We ended up having to create our own factory right here in the middle of Sydney because nobody in the existing supply chain wanted to work with us. Everything we make is on demand. Every single piece that leaves the factory is unique. And factories don't like to work that way, right? And so, we started a factory, best and worst decision we ever made. But really, to understand Citizen Wolf, you have to think about it as 3 circles and the Venn of 3 circles. So there's a traditional fashion brand and everything that entails. There's the factory, as I was talking about. And then there was also a technology piece where we wanted to make the process of getting made to measure online as frictionless as possible. So what we ended up creating was, eventually it became the Magic Fit algorithm, which I will go into. The way that we got to that point very quickly is when we opened a shop in Darlinghurst right back at the start. We hand measured 2,000 people. We hand cut 2,000 T-shirts. We only had one product at that time. Hand manipulated 2,000 T-shirts to be custom fit to those people. And so we had body measurements, we had garment measurements, and that custom data set became the basis for the Magic Fit algorithm. And so Magic Fit needs only your height, weight, age, and then for women also bra. And from those 3 or 4 pieces of data, we basically build a 3-dimensional mathematical model of your body and then make the clothes fit that. That's what Citizen Wolf does. We send it to you. If it doesn't fit, we do free remakes. Once the fit's right and you tell us it's right, it tends to be pretty sticky, right? If you can afford it the first time and then we deliver custom perfect fit, you're going to come back and buy more. So that's kind of we spent probably, I would say some total of 5 years getting to the point of being able to do that with confidence quickly and deliver that product quickly. When we started, it took us about 4 weeks to deliver a custom fit tee. We can now do it in 5 days. And as I said, every single piece that leaves the factory is unique. So there was a lot that sort of went into that. But excitingly, the next step of the journey, at the start of this year, we decided to spin that tech out and see. We always thought that what we were building had value outside of Citizen Wolf. The question was exactly what value, you know? Our ultimate goal, our stated position with Citizen Wolf is to unfuck the fashion industry. And that means to change an inherently and horrendously broken system. Just quickly, if you don't know the stats, they're pretty mind-altering. 1 in 3 pieces of clothing made every year goes straight to landfill, unsold. It did not need to be made. But it is made because people are chasing, or factories have minimum order quantities. Every brand thinks they're going to be able to sell more than they do. So everyone overorders, everyone overproduces. And it's an incredible problem, right? It drives the constant sales cycle. And then out the back of that, if you can't sell it, even on discount, eventually it probably ends up in landfill. And so our position is that's insane. And if you flip the model on its head and you only make what you sell, which is what we do at Citizen Wolf, there are obviously incredible environmental benefits to working that way. So, yeah, so that's kind of like our goal is systems change. And we always thought that the technology would allow us to scale beyond a single brand, right? Because we can't change the world by ourselves. We can't change the fashion industry as a single little brand out of Sydney. You know, it's too big. The behemoth is too big. So yeah, the tech was always our way to sort of scale that impact. And that's the journey we're on now.
And when you talk about like unfucking the fashion industry, the fact that there's a lot of wastage in that is definitely one of the problems. But one of the other problems is around returns as well, where you can see some fashion retailers with return rates of up to 30%.
Yep.
So that's product which gets sold and gets returned back for whatever reason. I don't like this product anymore, incorrect sizing.
Looks different to the photo, color's not right.
Yep, exactly.
But most of those return decisions are based around fit, actually. Yeah.
So with that in mind, like with Citizen Wolf, like what sort of numbers did you see by implementing the Magic Fit technology? Like were you able, what was your return rate?
So at Citizen Wolf, we didn't have any returns because if we made something and it was custom and it didn't fit, it wasn't good to the customer. It wasn't good for us either. Like we couldn't resell it. So we never asked for anything back. Mm-hmm. So I could credibly claim it was 0%. That's obviously a lie. But
what's wrong with 0%?
The fail rate of the technology is, I guess, the proxy. And that was about 6%. Now, we always assumed that was pretty good. Like 6% return rate or fail rate. Not too bad. We could deal with that. We could, put it into COGS and all the rest of it. Subsequently, I'm meeting a lot of fashion brands that run a 5% return rate on a standard size break. So maybe we weren't as good as we thought.
And with running Citizen Wolf, you started off as a fashion company and then now making the pivot into technology. But in parallel, as running a fashion brand, you were building the technology as well. How did you find that juggle? Because they require kind of two different mindsets to be able to do each. Like building a tech product is very different to running a fashion label.
Totally. I think it's safe to say we did a lot of things fine. Nothing maybe very well. If I'm being like really, truly honest, we're a very small team. There were 3 co-founders. We have a half-time video guy, half-time customer service, and then we've got 7 or maybe 8 people in the factory. So it's a very strange way to rig a fashion brand. So really we only have one tech guy and he's built all the technology to date for the brand. It's all been in-house, so it's our IP. We own it. And I guess, he in many ways sat separate to the fashion brand, I suppose, because to your point, it's a different discipline. It's a different mindset. But it was always in service of trying to make the process of getting Citizen Wolf clothing as simple as possible. We've subsequently now turned Magic Fit into an AI-powered size recommendation solution for brands that run standard size breaks. So like at Citizen Wolf, and it's the same 3 or 4 Magic Fit inputs, right? Height, weight, age, bra. At Citizen Wolf, we give you a completely custom-made piece of clothing to your body. But for any other brand, we basically get your customers to size confidence in only 2 clicks. And there's a few people in this, like we're not forging a new path in any way, right? These size recommendation solutions exist. There's plenty of them. But lots of them ask you, same height, weight, age, bra. And then they'll give you three like little drawings of your shoulders. Choose the shoulder that matches you. Then 3 guts, then 3 asses, right? And you have to decide which one is you. And I don't know about you guys if you've used these things, but you choose the middle one all the time, right? And then some of them are even like, okay, now tell us what your dog's name is. Tell us what you have for breakfast. Maybe tell me what size you are in, like Nike or Tommy. And you go, oh, I'm probably a large. And then it goes, oh, you're a large in this brand too. And it's like, well, I have zero trust now in that result because I told you I'm a large. Now you're telling me I'm a large. I just didn't need to bother with this experience, right? And I think if I've learned a few things with Citizen Wolf over the years, but I guess customer experience and like everything ladders back to customer experience, right? But customer experience is everything. In any brand, sure, certainly in fashion. And I think what we're doing with Magic Fit is just solving that customer experience around sizing, because size anxiety is what drives incredible return rates, as you said. Like at 30% returns, you're not a fashion brand, you're a logistics business, right? Being able to solve that and get your customer to size confidence quickly takes a whole lot of confusion and indecision away in the checkout process. And we've seen some amazing results. AOV's up, conversions up, returns are down. And it's all because like size guides exist online because you can't go into it, like you can't go into the change room and try something out, right? And so the solve for online retail so far has been the size guide, but size guides suck. I don't know if you've ever looked at one, but like
You can even find one.
they're impenetrable. It's a bunch of numbers in a table. You don't know if it's body measurements or you don't know if it's garment measurements. Even if you do, what have you got? How many people have a tape measure lying around? How many people know their chest measurement or their hip measurement? Nobody, right? But like nobody's really done anything about it. So yeah, we basically save people all the hassle of having to interact with those size charts. And we just, with confidence, say, in this brand, in this style, you are a size X. But what we're also able to do, and I think this is quite interesting for brands and product teams, is we can basically, we have an interface between the product team and the customer in a way that it's really, really difficult currently unless you're reading every word on a PDP. And let's face it, nobody does, right? But with Magic Fit, we can basically say, because we give 3 results. We give this is the one you should be, or this is the one that will give you the fit in the photographs. And then there's one up, one down. But there's notes that go around each one of those sizes that the product team can play back. So like if it's a super oversized silhouette, that might be how it's supposed to look. That might be how the product team wants it to look, but that might not be how you want to wear it. And so we're able to, I guess, break down that barrier that really traditionally hasn't been, there's been no direct connection between those two people.
Now, I'm going to get into some of the brands we're currently piloting it soon, but before I do that, at what point in the journey did you realize that you were going to spin Magic Fit off into its own product? Like, was there a certain decision point where I was like, hey, actually, this makes a lot of sense for us to, focus on building out a Shopify app?
We always knew we were going to get here.
Mm-hmm.
We, for many, many years, for 9 years, we were too busy trying to run and grow a DTC brand.
Yep.
And you guys know it's like all consuming, right? Like marketing's hard, product's hard, websites are hard, email's hard, tiny team, not enough resources. There was always too many things to do on the brand. And so the idea of spinning the tech was always there in the background, but it was always in the like, we'll get there tomorrow kind of basket. To be completely honest with you, Mal, the catalyst for us doing this was that at the end of last year, we looked at the numbers in the business, in the Citizen Wolf business, and turns out after 9 years, and it pains me to say this out loud, but after 9 years, the reality is that business throws off enough money for one co-founder, and we were 3. That's a very, very uncomfortable position to be in, right? After pouring 9 years of your life into something. And so it was really just like, necessity being the mother of all invention, as they say. We just were like, well, 2 of us have to either leave that business. We have to get off the balance sheet. That's the simple truth. 2 of us have to come off the balance sheet. Either we can work for free in the business, and that's pretty common for founders, I expect, or kind of like one last roll of the dice. Let's do this tech thing that we've always been talking about, right? And so, yeah, I guess I'm ashamed to say that it took us getting to that point before we were confident enough to make the decision. I wish we had done it earlier.
And that's actually been a bit of a recurring theme of the stage, where everyone's been saying that, I wish we did that earlier. I wish we did that earlier.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's hard to make decisions then. When things are, until you realize that the chips are down,
yeah,
that's when you tend to act.
Exactly.
So with the co-founders you work with, you mentioned before, one of your co-founders is the technical co-founder, so looking after development. How then are the responsibilities split up with Magic Fit? Like, who is someone responsible for marketing, operations, customer success?
Yeah, so I mean, at the moment, there's only 2 of us. He's on the tech side, I'm on the everything else side, I guess. But we've been working together for almost 9 years now, and so we have a great working relationship, and we trust each other to just get on with each discipline. We're trying to grow the business, and there'll be more people over time. But yeah, basically I'm looking after, at the moment, I do sales and customer success and onboarding, and I guess marketing, and he does tech and analysis and the more numbers side of it.
Yep, great.
Yeah.
And with the pilot, so you've been running a pilot with Zorali for a while now. Take us through how you started working with Zorali. Like, how did you find them, and how had they become the perfect candidate to be a pilot for Magic Fit?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out today actually exactly how we met Cam. Cam runs Zorali, and I can't remember if it was an intro or if I just reached out on LinkedIn or something. But anyway, we approached him. Super chill guy. If you don't know Zorali, it's sort of an outdoor brand. So think about Patagonia, but like the Aussie version of that, I guess. They sell a ton of apparel, but they also sell tents and backpacks and sandals, hiking sandals and stuff, which we obviously don't touch with Magic Fit. And he was amazing. He was so amazing because 6 months ago in January, we didn't have a tech product. We had a fashion brand. We had some technology in that brand that was built and fit for purpose, but we didn't have a product that we could have taken to any other brand. So we needed a pilot customer, and we really needed somebody who was going to allow us to figure it out. We knew that the technology worked because it's been powering Citizen Wolf for many years now. So it wasn't a question of that, but it was a question of trying to figure out what that tech might be able to do for somebody else. And so he was amazing. He just basically gave us a login to Shopify, amazing. Gave us a login to his returns platform, just gave us full access to the business, basically, to customer service and the whole bit, and just said, you guys go for broke. Don't break anything, please. Go nuts, do whatever you want. And it was incredible because he allowed us to basically work in tandem with him to build something that he thought could work, that we thought might work, and then validate all the metrics, obviously, right? Because that's what, if we don't have that, we've got nothing. And so that process, that like really open, really transparent, and built on a lot of trust. And like, I've never met the guy. We've had a bunch of Zooms, you know. It's quite mad how trustworthy he was. But I guess he was like, he trusted us. And, you know, we're 9 years of running a DTC brand. We do have some, like, I guess, pedigree in this. We're not just two tech bros who have created a solution and we go looking for a problem and land on fashion and then try and like get on the phone and sell tech. And that's been a real boon for us, actually. And I guess that's part of what Cam sort of knew and saw. So yeah, but it was really funny because when we started, we were thinking, oh, you know, like, we think it's going to be a bit of a hybrid commercial model where there'll be a small sort of recurring monthly fee to kind of license the technology, if you like. And then we're going to do a performance clip on top, right? So any order that touches Magic Fit will take like a 2% sort of credit card fee equivalent, right? And he was like, no way, absolutely not. I want a fixed fee. Give me a fixed fee. I want all my SaaS has to be fixed fee. I've been down this performance road before. No. And we're like, okay. So we weren't charging him at this point. And, you know, so we kept working with him and we kept building the things that he was asking for and changing what he didn't like. And then we gave him another month of trial and then another month of trial. And then suddenly we went back to him in June and we were like, all right, Cam, listen, man, we've made 30 grand for you last month and you've done nothing. You've got $30,000 more than you had last month and there's no new customers. There's no more traffic. It's just that the people that are already shopping with you are now confident around their size, so they're spending more money. His AOV was up 13% on the Magic Fit orders, right? Now, Magic Fit's touching around 1 in 3 orders for him. So basically that's 4% on his business, 4% extra revenue for free, just because we are integrated with him, right? And we were like, look, how about that performance fee again? You know, what is now, like, what do you reckon? I think it's working for everybody. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, it makes me really happy because his starting position was no fucking way. Absolutely not. And then when we showed him the numbers, he was like, yeah, that's fine.
And you said before, AOV's up, conversion rates up, returns are down.
Yeah, so we did a split test with Shoplift, one of the split A/B testing tools, or with Cam. And last month, his conversion rate for people using Magic Fit versus people just using the standard size guide, his conversion rate was up 31%. So that's pretty amazing. And that's a statistically significant test. I think it was about 15,000 people or it was only new customers, actually. 15,000 people went through that test. So yeah, AOV up 13%, conversion up 31%. Returns also, we've proven that his returns have gone down 20%. And again, it's all because size-confident customers spend more and return less. Yeah.
Were there any challenges with adapting the technology from Citizen Wolf's bespoke model to something where everything is already mass-produced?
Yeah, and that's what we were working with Cam for. We worked with him probably for about 3 months to figure out exactly how it would work, how we needed to adapt the technology on our side to make it work for standard size breaks. But again, like, I guess we're lucky in the sense that we were coming from it. We already knew the technology worked, like the core part of it, 3 or 4 data points coming in and then a mathematical model of the human body coming out. Like, that bit we didn't need to figure out. We'd spent 9 years at Citizen Wolf, like, making that work and actually split testing the inputs, because there's there's a balance and a tension between simplicity and accuracy. And so, all the way through the Citizen Wolf journey, the first thing people said when you talked about the algorithm was like, that's bullshit. There's no way it works, right? There's no way you can reduce me to 3 or 4 variables. I'm a special snowflake. I'm me. But actually, the mathematics says that we can, at least, in terms of the body. So, yeah, we knew that tech bit worked. We were just trying to figure out how to make it work for other brands. So that.
And full disclosure, I have a Magic Fit t-shirt, a Citizen Wolf t-shirt, and it fits like a dream.
Thank you.
So you had to adapt the model to be able to work for other brands. And then in terms of like onboarding a new brand onto Citizen Wolf, like what sort of inputs and data do you need to collect about the garments from each brand in order to have the technology work?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We need tech packs, basically. And that's controversial because so much of a fashion brand's IP is in that tech pack, and it's invariably an Excel spreadsheet, many, many pages. But basically we need graded garment measurements. We don't need them all, obviously. But that's been one of the, I guess, core challenges that we've found when we speak to new customers for Magic Fit. It's like, they're like, ooh, some of them are like, yeah, fine, here's the tech pack. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Others are like, no. We need to find some other way to get you that info. I was speaking to somebody recently that you introduced me to, actually. And he's like, oh, we don't even have tech packs. How's this going to work? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, we just call up the factory and we're like, oh, that boxy tee stuff? Yeah, we want that in like purple or whatever. So like his factory holds all the measurements. And I'm like, well, either you can introduce me to the factory or send me one of every size and I'll measure it. I don't care. Either way, I need graded garment measurements, right? And that's basically how we make it work on the tech side. And then in terms of like being able to integrate with very large catalogs, that was something that came up. Zorali is a really interesting business in that they have only, I don't know, maybe 30 apparel styles, or maybe 40, I suppose, across men and women. So very few, right? And they don't work like a traditional fashion brand. They're not dropping new product all the time. I think it's actually a great business and a great model. But, then the next client we went live with was Kowtow, and really traditional fashion brand doing great things for sustainability and all the rest of it. But, they're on a monthly drop cycle. And they were like, oh, how are you guys going to handle that? And we were like, I don't know. We can get across it, don't you worry. And so then, we had to figure out how to make that work on the tech side. And I guess the journey thus far has been, we talked to a new customer, they're interested. We give them a 30-day trial on basically their best sellers. And then we report the data back to them and say, look, we made you this much more money for free last month. If we go live on 100% of your catalog, we estimate this much is going to come to you next month. And so let's do that. So yeah, we're yet to integrate with a super large catalog. Although our latest pilot, we've just gone live with LSKD, very big brand, as you guys probably know. And so we're very quickly going to have to get across like what I imagine is a really large catalog, but actually it might not be. They might be a really lean product business where they don't have 500 SKUs, 500 styles, sorry. They maybe only have, I don't know, 100. I actually don't know yet. But we're going to get across it. And I guess the point is we are treating software development with the same, I guess, ethos that we brought to clothing, which is super bespoke. Every time, like now when you go to Magic Fit's on a few, like 5 or 6 sites now, and it looks completely native and bespoke on every single website. And that was really important to us because, again, coming out of the running our own brand and knowing just how much time and effort and energy goes into the PDP. That is the heart, the living, beating heart of any fashion brand, right? I guess it's true of any e-com brand, but like, you don't want to, as a brand owner, there's no way you want to install some like generic, shitty looking plugin, even if it's going to like financially transform the business. You'd just be like, it looks shit. Like, no, why would I want to do that? So we're kind of at pains to make the install super bespoke. And I don't know if we would have done that if we hadn't have come out of 9 years of Citizen Wolf, you know, and that was our approach to clothing. And so it was just a really natural sort of segue into, well, why don't we do this for software as well? Whereas I think if we had have come out of comp science or something or any other tech company, it would have been like, let's make it once and then we scale it to the whole universe kind of thing, you know? So, yeah, that might be working in our favor too.
So it's a Shopify app?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, we're actually turning it into an SDK, so it's going to be even easier to install, and we get around that needs to be on Shopify. I mean, everybody I've ever spoken to on the sales side's already on Shopify, so it's like not really a problem. There was only one brand. They were on the Salesforce cloud. But look, at the end of the day, it's an API call with some front-end JavaScript, so it's not too hard for us to put it on anything. But
yep. And in terms of the customization, then the brands can then work with you and customize the widget so that it goes with the background.
So we're doing free UI design in terms of we'll make it look like your website for free. We're doing free dev. We'll integrate it into your website for free. And then we're doing that's all part of like the 30-day trial and the onboarding process. Just to make it easy to, hopefully, easy for people to say yes.
So you've got Zorali, mentioned LSKD before, currently on Apollo. Are there any other brands you can share who are?
Kowtow, there's a small brand called Philosophy Australia, Outland Denim, and we haven't yet gone live, but we will maybe next week with a brand called Alexandra.
And in terms of objections, which you may be hearing from brands, like what are some of the objections or misconceptions some of them may have about the product and using something like a Magic Fit on their site?
Yeah, I think part of it is, as I was saying before, about installing some ugly plugin that just looks shit. So like we've got a workaround for that, but that's certainly on people's minds, like that sanctity of the PDP and making sure you don't like break the brand experience. Which is one of the things that always spun me out about some of these other brands where they ask you what size you are in Nike or whatever. Like what mono brand in their right mind is going to put that in the checkout process on their own website? Just like, whoa. So I guess we figured out early on we weren't for multi-brand retailers where, like, I get it. If you're already selling Nike and Tommy and all the rest of it, sure, it makes sense. You know, as the platform, you don't care what brand people buy as long as they buy something, right? But a mono-brand obviously can't act like that. So, you know, we sort of got rid of that. We didn't need it anyway because, you know, that we've made so many custom fit clothes now at Citizen Wolf that the data set that we're working on is really robust. It's like 100,000 bodies that we've basically scanned, for lack of a better word. And it's all Australian too, right? So we're not using international data. There's some things about, you know, like body shapes and sizes are different around the world. So it's all Aussie data, which helps. So that's one hesitation. The second one would be like the tech packs and getting access to that garment data. And then beyond that, the other one that I've heard is like, oh yeah, we started to install one of these systems in the past, and I don't know, for whatever reason, it just never went ahead. And why? Because traditional software or plugins on Shopify, at least, they push all of or most of the onboarding onto the user, onto the person trying to integrate the software, right? There's a really good example, Kiwi sizes. I don't know if anybody has heard of that or uses that. Lots of the size guides are made with Kiwi. Fucking hell. The back end of that is just a mess. And like expecting that people are going to spend days, hours, if not days, trying to like get their head around that and make it work for their website. I mean, it's $9 a month. So swings and roundabouts, you get what you pay for. But like, because we're very consciously giving, I guess, what you would call a white glove onboarding service, where we are very intentionally just saying, let us do all of the work. Like the best client so far is someone who just says yes, gives us the logins, and then we just do it. And then we go, do you like this? Or do you want to change something? And then, we're live. And it costs them nothing in terms of the onboarding in dollars, and it costs them nothing in time. And honestly, again, as a brand owner, I know that's the one thing that you've got the least of. So I think that was probably the biggest hesitation, that other software solutions in this space push all of the work effectively onto the user, whereas we're just like, that's dumb.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll take it on. That's our job.
Now, you mentioned before around all the data is currently trained on Australia measurements. So if Magic Fit is then offered to, let's say, US customers, what would be the process you would then need to undertake in order for the algorithms to work for a US store?
Yeah, that's a great question. The short answer is the best way to do it would be to initiate basically a research project where we scan a bunch of people in a place over time. We were actually approached by a large heritage retailer to make a version of Magic Fit specific to their customer base. And that project might still go ahead. That's in Australia. That project hopefully still will go ahead. But it got us thinking about this very question. And it's as true for scaling OS as it is true for just, integrating with a brand who services an older plus-size woman, for example, or a brand who services super ripped gym junkies. Those two body typologies are really, really different. And we have some of that data in Magic Fit already. And I would say it's still going to be a better experience than using the size guide. But it can always be better. And so, yeah, we've been talking about, like, maybe we just need to have basically a research arm where we have a 3D body scanner and a person, and we just take it around the country or the world, I suppose, and just, scanning people.
Yep.
So
now, I want to circle back to the first point, which we were talking about, of why you started Citizen Wolf, that it was to minimize the overproduction. Will Magic Fit allow brands to be able to address that problem around overproduction?
Yeah, that's a great question. If I had my way, every fashion brand would run an on-demand model, and we would somehow magically wave a wand and force everybody to make only what they sell. And naively, back in January, this is what I thought Magic Fit might help the world do. The reality is, and I understand why, the reality is no one's going to do that. No one's going to re-engineer their supply chain, because I think it's a better way of being kinder to the planet. So we needed to pivot what the tech did in order to meet the market where it is, right? Not where I hope or wish that it might someday be. And so what that means is we figured out a way to make it work with standard size breaks. Now, really, the simple answer to your question is 20% fewer returns is a really good news story on the ESG side of any business, fashion business, right? You can go straight to your comms team, blast it out. Your investors are going to love you. Your customers are going to love you. You're probably going to sell more stuff. Everybody wins, right? And that can happen immediately today. I think the long-term opportunity with Magic Fit, though, is actually because we're now capturing data around all of the customers who don't already know their size. So it's not all customers. It's 1 in 3 at the moment. Zirali use it. Because it's optional, right? No one has to go through it, but 1 in 3 are using it, and And of those people that are using it, we obviously know their height, their weight, their age, and their bra size. And so what we will be able to do, given enough months being live on any one retailer, is give them a ton of data around missed opportunities, sizes that were out of stock when somebody wanted to buy it, who had a body that fit that size, which they probably don't know at the moment. Or even if they do have something like Style Arcade, it's a best guess model, right? Whereas we can actually say, no, there were 1,579 bodies of this type who couldn't buy that product in this time frame. And similarly, not only the out of stock stuff, but just didn't fit the sizes at all because they were too big or too small, but probably likely too big. And so we will be able to say to them, okay, cool. Well, if you actually extend your size range by one or maybe two sizes, not in everything necessarily, but in your core best-selling products, you're going to be able to service this many more customers. And like looping back to that bit about customer experience, there's nothing worse than trying to buy something and it's out of stock. That sucks. But trying to buy something and the brand has decided that like you're not the right body shape for the brand, like that's a really shitty position to be in for the customer, for the consumer. So yeah, I think to wrap that up in a bow, yes, right now it's a good story, but moving into the future, we really do want to change the supply decisions that brands make with real data.
And Zoltan, final question for you. Looking into the future, what are the next 1 to 2 major leaps you can see in terms of where the Magic Fit technology is going to be going?
So there's an opportunity we have around using Magic Fit as a stylist. Mm-hmm. This may be less valuable for women because I think women mostly know what sort of styles suit their body. I think there's a lot of men who don't. Regardless, we'll be able to say, based on your Magic Fit, you might think about buying this style, not that style. Right, we're not there yet, but that's certainly on the horizon. And then it's really that data piece around the production decisions and missed opportunities. That's kind of that's the next big unlock I think that we see.
Zoltan, thank you for joining us, and good luck with changing the future of fashion.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks for the time.
Thanks everyone for joining us on the NORA Podcast Stage. This is the final one for the day for the conference. So it's been a pleasure to be here, and thank you for joining us. If you do have the headphones, please leave them here. We'll be collecting out very soon, and enjoy the rest of your day.